Hi everybody, here's the single line tarp ridge line. So I have this one set up on a Dyneema tarp. It's actually not on the ridge line. You might notice some uneven stuff going on here because the ridge line on this tarp was damaged by single line tie outs that put all the stress on the ridge line of the tarp. So that's one of the reasons why I like the single line setup, because it puts the stress across this whole length of Dyneema instead of making the ridge line be such a integral part of the tension as far as the ridge line of the tarp. So this line consists of a long piece of lash-it right here, this gray piece. It's threaded into the tie outs of the ridge line, and you can also do it without threading it into the tie outs, but I like to thread it in the tie outs because it gives better support. And the line on the static end right here where we're at right now just goes around the tree and comes back and soft links into this other piece of am seal that's just permanently larks headed to the tie out. So it's just a little soft link. It's just like my Evo loop kind of thing. It's a highly dependable knot. And then the adjustable side over here, the adjustable side connects in the same way. However, it has one additional component, this red line. This red line has a lark's head onto the main gray ridge line. So the main gray ridge line, again on this side, goes around the tree and comes back to the tarp, but it connects via this red line. So the red line creates the adjustable connection. So right now I've snugged this up a little bit just by pulling the gray line back this way. I have a little bit of a mechanical advantage, and then when I let go, since there's a little lark's head on there, it will still hold a decent amount of tension on the tarp. And then I can finish this off just with the simple overhand slippery knot by going around the red part, and this is creating a knot that's similar to the Beckett hitch that is proven in hammock suspension. And so here I'm going to do it with one hand. I'm going to attempt to do it with one hand. So that's all there is to it. If I wasn't holding the camera, that would be a lot easier. I also have a metal pin in my pinky right now, but it's just one main component of the ridge line. These little soft links are permanently attached to your tarp, and then the main ridge line just has this red loop attached to it. So even with it snugged up pretty tight, you still have the option to center it a little bit. It'll pull you around the tree, and if you need to pull it around the tree loosely, you can just pull your slippery knot out and make this lark's head slide down a little bit, and then you'll have enough looseness to pulley around the tree, and you can center it, and you can let go of it like that, and you can come back and tighten it with your line. So yes, there is a knot that you have to tie, but if you had hardware pieces on here, you would still have to put the rope through the little hook of the wasp and pull it this way and then pinch it and then go back around it. So as far as the motion and work you have to do with your hands, just tying this little modified Beckett hitch onto the red line is a lot easier. So it's just a ridge line that is simplified, and it has a little bit more line to it because each side does have to go around the tree, and you do have to cover the length of the tarp with your line, but that's totally fine. 10 to 12 feet of Dyneema line is still going to weigh less than any piece of hardware, and it's going to have a degree of stretch that's going to help prevent damage to your tarp. And I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. This tarp was hung up with hardware, and it caused this damage because the Dyneema tarps don't stretch like nylon tarps. So you connect a static line out here to the tree, and then the wind blows and it's pulling directly on your tarp. It's changing the dimension of the distance between your tarp, and the weak point is always going to be the point to give out. So having a longer line helps absorb the possible tension if you're connected to trees that move in the high wind. And that's mostly just important for if you're using a Dyneema tarp like this. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. There it is, the tarp blowing in the wind.